Zach, welcome. Thanks for doing this. You're a leader. You're a leader in your home. You're a leader outside of work. I mean, what sort of principles or tactics or lessons have you sort of crossed between or carried over between the two like business leader identity and then the family leader identity?
Hmm. Yeah, so this I'm excited honestly as I was thinking about this. I'm not going to answer your question directly, but I was thinking like I don't we don't or at least in my life, I don't really spend any time thinking about this topic. Like
Yeah,
I
me
think I have
neither.
some like natural inclinations from how I was raised and the way I've seen it, but as like a
Mhm.
forum to discuss being a better dad, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have these conversations very often, so I'm super excited to be on the show, and I think it's cool that you're like engaging an audience around this specific topic. So, I guess my first question is to me like. Hopefully, I'm gonna be I'll be the most annoying guest ever. So you guys feel free to just cut me off and be like, all right, we're not talking about this anymore. Um, Anyways, but I guess my first question is like, do there's an underlying assumption there that being a leader at work should be, or there should be some things that translate to being a leader at home. And like, I'm wondering, is that premise even right? Like, is that, do we run our homes like we run our businesses? Or is there, maybe there's principles that exist there, but like, is that really the same thing? And if we start from that jumping off point, are we starting from the wrong point?
I mean, super fundamental question. Very masterful dodge there of my question. I'll go ahead and do the polite thing and answer your question just for the integrity of the of the podcast. No, so I think it's a great jumping off point. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's some key differences around like, well, you're in love and you're committed, and I don't personally believe in divorce. Um, so I think there's a sense of like, well, I can't quit my wife, right? Like I can't quit my job versus like, or like I can't quit my wife, but I can quit my job. Um, I think there's enough similarities to go through, but I mean, in terms of the differences, obviously, I think you're much more committed. Um, oh man, yeah, good initial question. I do see like vision of the family and
Hmm.
vision of business being a good carryover.
Hmm.
The way I've thought about it has been, and when I think vision, I think of like the six attributes that we talk about at work of an effective leader, regardless of position, title, status, whatever. If you're a leader, good leaders tend to have integrity. They tend to have competence in areas related to being effective, good judgment, humility, drive, and vision. And those are true for work, and I certainly see them being true at home. Like I have to do trustworthy things. I have to be good at being a father, good at being um, a husband. So yeah, and then like all the rest of it, like drive to continue to be better, humility to know what I'm doing wrong, good judgment, timely judgment, still make decisions, things like that. And then vision for what I want my family to look like, as well as vision for what I don't want my family to look like. All those things carry over. I think it'd be boring for me to think through in silence all of the ways that it's similar, like business and home are similar and business and home are different. Um, but the one big thing that comes to mind is the level of commitment is definitely different. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're looking at it through that lens, right? Like those are very much, well, maybe not. I don't know. I see those as being very intrinsic values, right? Like a lot of that is things that it's more the character of who we are almost rather than the um, principles that apply from work. But I guess I will say, so I guess I'm thinking about it out as I'm thinking about it. One of the things that I've been working on personally as a dad and husband, because I don't know if I think those are pretty intertwined, but
Hmm.
I think like our ability to plan is like, so my wife and I are terrible planners, and I think
Okay.
that historically without kids that had never been an issue because you have enough time to make up for some inefficiencies in terms of like how you go about things. But we have two daughters right now. One's a 3 year old and one's an eight I guess almost a 10 month old actually. Almost a 10 month old. So it's just like as we have more children, time gets squeezed. And so without planning, what we're finding is one of the things is that like our ability to do the fun things that we want is impacted because we're not doing the things that we need to do, right? So
Hmm.
the difference of like, hey, in order to do the things we want to do, we need to make sure we plan the things we need to do. And I think that's something
Yeah.
true as a leader at work that you're always trying to juggle, right? You're trying to create a plan to go execute against. And without a plan in both scenarios, yeah, there can be some failures there.
I can dig that. I think with a plan, there has to with any plan there has to be a goal, right? And I think so brings up like, well, what's your goal? And then you can say, what are your set of goals? What's your and goals to me, I can link to vision, mission, values, stuff like that, right? But like so one of the questions while you were talking, and I was thinking of what I was going to say next, was I'm kidding, but was like, is your plan to have so you're planning to do the things that you need to do. Can you make it, but funds being sacrificed for that? Can you make the things that you're doing fun? What's the goal with fun? I guess I don't know. This isn't
Hmm.
coming together as well as I thought, but um,
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. That's actually
hmm.
that's an interesting idea. It's like,
Thanks for saving the day.
why do me and my wife place a value on fun, right? Like that
Sure.
seems like and my answer that seems like that's one of our goals is to have fun
Hmm.
with our children. So as a father, my goal is to have fun with my daughters. And so
Hmm.
why is that important to me more so than say nap time every day?
Yeah,
Right? Like, and so, like, what am I willing to sacrifice in order to have fun, or what am I really willing to maybe prioritize is a better word than sacrifice.
yeah. It's a different value from me. I don't think of fun like I don't think of fun very often. I do think a lot of need, and I am a good planner, and so I kind of operate based on like, okay, what do I need to do today? And like one of the things I need to do is I need to go to the gym, and I link that to I don't want to get fat. I don't want to die early. Like it is like it's that logic chain
Okay.
that quickly to like if you get fat, if you don't go to the gym today, you're going to be more likely to get fat and then you're going to die early. Like it is that close to me.
Yeah.
Um, but like it's not fun. Like I don't think of it as like I'm going to enjoy myself. So I don't plan necessarily around fun. I kind of like outsource that to my wife.
Mm.
And so yeah, I guess we are sort of in some ways planning around our values. Um, but you were saying like you weren't you didn't plan beforehand, but you do plan like with business. Do you find that you're planning at home the same way that you're planning in business, or sort of taking lessons from there?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're not doing it the same way, but I think lessons that I'm learning from how do we as a business go out and then plan, and then really a plan's only as good as you can execute against it, right? So
Hmm.
planning is the first step, and the next level of that is execution. And so,
Hmm.
right, as a business, we're always trying to understand, all right, how do we plan better and how do we execute better, right? Because if
Hmm.
you can do both of those things, we're going to be further along in over whatever time period than we would be if we're not good planning and we're not good at executing. And so
Hmm.
I think a lot of those things that I'm taking are they're pieces of that kind of filtered through what's going to work at home, understanding that my wife is an equal with me as I see it,
Hmm.
right? In terms of at our home. Um
Yeah.
and, and not someone who I get to just tell to go do something and they do it, right? So how do we
Yeah.
incorporate some of that? But there's a different level of buy-in required to
Yeah.
to bring things at home, to bring those ideas to home. So I think that's kind of the
Definitely.
difference. Yeah.